Hey guys, I'm John.
And I'm Eric.
And this is Knifemaking Tuesday, week
21.
So this week, we're going to do a bunch of finishing work on the knife, and I've had this pile of spacers and standoffs and thumb studs and stuff for 6 weeks? Five weeks? I don't know. You made them.
Yeah, 5 weeks.
5 weeks. And they need to be drilled and tapped, and the pivot pins, as you can see, I've got all these stupid washers and stuff because they're way too long. So we're going to shorten those, dome the head to make them nicer and shorter, and I just want everything to finally fit properly. I think that'll really tie the knife together and make it feel better. And obviously it has to get done at some point. So today's that day. So we've only got 2 hours until we're going to go watch Act of Valor, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And S starts?
there's no, yeah, S starts the spindle. You're not going to run that code. Might as well just close that code. Which means you got to go to this arrow and then unload. Okay. So what we're doing here is we've got that pivot pin with a Sharpie mark giving a general idea of where we're going. And we're just going to cut straight left to cut that off very slowly until gets the right length. So what you got to do, hit the spindle, turn it on.
You have glasses.
I have glasses, they're right here. Thank you. Okay. And then move over slowly until you start to see a tip. Yeah. Well, you can see it. There you go. Stop. I wanted you to stop with the first tip.
You didn't say that.
I did. Okay, you good?
Yeah.
So go to the computer.
I think I backed off one.
Put it about where you think it should be. Where the face was. Close enough. So, stop that. Z, click on that, call it 0.5. Perfect, enter. Now we know that, I know that the shank is 0.5 inches long to begin with, and we're trying to make it 0.355. So now the machine thinks that is 0.5, so we just move it over until it says 0.33. And push right arrow. I just want to see how fast it moves. Hold it. Yeah, if you tap it left ways while you're cutting, it should be okay.
Instead of doing.
Yeah, because it'll take you forever going step by step. So I can see it from here. You gotta turn the spindle on first. Oh, you're watching the numbers.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
You ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready. And then when you get close, you can go step by step.
And we're going to
355. Okay, now back up. There we have it. Now there's going to be a pretty big burr on the outside and as well as on the inside of the threads. And these pivots are a crazy tight thread. I think they're like 64 threads per inch or something. There doesn't exist a tap for that thin. So we'll just have to, I guess, use a screw to clean up the threads. That's not the way you measure it. Measure with the back. The tail end of the calipers.
Yeah. See, I still have to learn one.
No, that's okay. A little bit higher. 358. Close enough for me, for now. It's also not the absolute most accurate way to measure it. 0.003 of an inch. 360. Yeah. Close enough for now. Let's put it together. See how it fits. Got it shortened. These things must be made of a really good stainless. I think they're 416 or something, because there is 0 burr left from that turning operation on the inside or outside. We didn't have to file it or chamfer it or anything, so pretty happy about that. Haven't tried a screw in there yet, but I think it'll fit just fine. So we've got the stop pin inside one of my ER collets, just like this, in the lathe. Didn't crank it down too tight because I don't want to mar up the threads or the shank of that thing. But so I have X and Y zeroed, and it's a new piece of code that I wrote like 2 months ago, and I haven't looked at it since. So because of that, I don't trust it. So I'm going to go G0, Z1. You still see it?
Yep.
The tool? I'm going to call that 0. And I'm going to run it from here. So it's like air cutting, just to see if it works. And obviously we don't need a spindle on for that. It's a 5-second delay. Should work fine. Now we can try that again for reals. Cross your fingers. Finish fast. Not bad. Didn't get a great surface finish on it, but it turned out real nice. So I turned down the head of this guy, and hopefully you can see in the video, but the surface finish I got wasn't as nice as I'm usually shooting for. Yeah, maybe you can see it there. It's sort of grainy and gritty. It's like the tool was rubbing instead of actually cutting. So I think next time I'll crank up the RPMs to full speed, 2400 instead of 1200. That should do it. Here's the stock one. You can see how much I took off. And as far as a good example, Tim Gallienne, Small Junkyard Dog. Same exact pivot. Notice how his surface finish is quite a bit nicer than mine. That's what I'm shooting for. So up next, I have to take some of these. I'm not going to do all of them. Just going to do enough to make one knife. And I have to drill them and tap them. I'm going to do 440. So, which is probably overkill. 256 would be plenty. So they're like this. and they have a nice pip at the end. So as you can see, these are my soft jaws. I have milled circular pockets, like 50 of them, I don't know. They're all just 0.3 inches apart, so they're very easy to go between. And these barrel nuts drop in down there, and I've got one right there. I think I took out the other two. So this one I've already drilled, and I tried to tap it while it was in this fixture, but it would just rotate. I don't have enough clamping force, and I was even alternating, like one empty, one empty. It just wasn't enough clamping force to hold it for tapping, hand tapping. So that was a little bit of a fail, but I was able to drill them all pretty good. I guess I can take this off now. So you can see there's just two screws this way, or bolts, nuts, things. And these are my spacers, basically, which I've drilled with a 3/16 drill bit. Wow, that's very centered. Yeah, another reason why I'm not super happy with this. This happens every time I try to do a different operation on a different fixture, or flipping the part over, or moving it from one place to the next. It's not consistent. That's unacceptable. Jeez. Whoops. Wow. These ones drilled pretty centered, but you can still tell it's off. But anyway, in theory, this slides over that, this goes into the frame on one side, this spaces them out, and then the screw. So in theory, it's supposed to work great. In practice, I'm not doing it right. But I'm learning. I'm honestly starting to consider just having these made or something. I really like how Gallian did it with these. It's just one piece, screw into both sides, threaded through 256, and they look awesome. Great surface finish. So I mean, I'm starting to consider just having like 1,000 of these made and use them on all of my knives, because this is taken forever and it's very fiddly and my lathe sucks and it's not that accurate and you gotta tap them all and it just sounds like a huge nightmare. Tapping this guy by hand, luckily I didn't break a tap, but it was kind of scary. And holding it was difficult. It kept spinning. I ended up putting it in a drill chuck, you know, one of these, tightening it down and putting it in a fixture like this and then tapping. And it still slipped. I had to crank it down pretty good. So much that I put wear marks around the perimeter, which is stupid. So I got to figure out a way to do all this properly. I also have thumb studs. Let me show you a blue one. I've shown these before in my videos, previous knife making videos, but I do love these thumb studs. I think they're good shape, good size, but they have a pip on that side, as you can see. So I've got one mounted right here. I guess I can take that out. I was able to successfully drill that. I just spot drilled it to get rid of the pip and then drilled it with a, I forget, 93 thousandths drill bit or whatever it is. And luckily I drilled it just deep enough so it doesn't pop through. And then the plan is to tap that with a bottoming tap so that it can go into my blade. So that worked in this fixture. I still have to tap it though, and I can't exactly, due to the funky shape that I chose, there's no flat spot to grab onto easily without putting 3 dents in it. So I'll figure something out. So here's my setup for tapping. I've got the thumbstud mounted in there right now. I know there's going to be 3 clamp marks on there, but oh well. So this is the bottoming tap. I know I can only go so far before it hits the bottom. Hopefully the tap doesn't snap off before then. I'm going to take it out and verify. Okay, I can go deeper. I do have lube on there. Can you see that? Ultra lube. Yet it's still. If anybody has any advice for that, that'd be great. Oh, the thumbstud is actually slipping. Oh great, it looks terrible now. What a pain in the rear. That's what I was hoping to avoid. I know I can dissolve that in ferric chloride, so I'm just going to do that. And yeah, let's do that. That way I don't have to tap another one. Another quick thing to mention is that this thing is now basically covered in cutting oil, super thick cutting oil. So unless I clean it really, really well and dissolve all that oil, it's not going to anodize worth crap. I'm not going to get those bright blues like I did with the freshly machined one, so I just got to clean it really, really well. So real quick, I just got my thumbstud mounted up in this little titanium wire thing. I'm going to dump it in here, leave it however long it takes. So wrapping up week 21, it looks so much better without all those washers. Love the pivot here. I got super low profile. Really love how that turned out. Love how these fit. Just under the surface, totally perfectly concentric. Spacer's okay. I only got one of these barrel nuts threaded through, and I kind of don't like it at all. For one thing, I had to open up all the holes to make everything clear, so the tolerances suck. The hole's off center, and it sits up higher than I want it to sit. For one, because this handle's a lot thinner than it's supposed to be. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have a redesign there, because I'm just not happy with. Love this side, don't love this side. So I think I might take a page out of Tim's book and do something similar how we did here. Screw on either side. Spacer threaded through. So I've been really jonesing to use these T10 440 screws the whole time, but I'm starting to come to my senses, and it would be really nice to have a knife that uses the same torques on all things. So the pivot's a T9. I'm going to use T9 256 screws. This thing's going to be the thumb stud screw is going to be a T9, and it'd be just nice. I threw just a bolt in there, or a little screw with a nut on the back, just to give me something to thumb stud, because my thumb stud is soaking in the ferric chloride right now. But that's kind of cool. I kind of like it the way it is right now. It's neat. But my thumb studs are way cooler than that bolt. But the detent action that it's got right now could be a lot heavier. So I've got a few ideas to tweak that up. If I push it just the right direction, like I can't just pull back, but if I push more this way, then I can really get it to fly. And just like with most knives, you know, you learn the best way to do it. But if you give it just the right force, I mean, it can really fly. But it is a very light detent. Whereas this guy is very hard, very crisp. My wife couldn't even actually comfortably open this thing. This is on the verge of too hard, but as always, love Gallien's work. Soon enough, I'll take this apart and do a video of that, but that's different. So just wrapping up this week, I'm nearly to the point of saying finish this knife and start selling them. I just need to do a bunch of design tweaks, figure out what I'm going to do for the spacers and these nuts and whatever, and just a bunch of little tweaks. I think the next knife that I make will be as perfect as I'm going to get it. So I want to make one last final prototype, and then after that it's production, which is very, very exciting. So there we have it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.